Ambassador T.R. Carla had served the Galactic Mediation Council for over 3 centuries, resolving conflicts between species across 12 star systems. She had witnessed the crystalline Zephyrian's cold logical fury, experienced the Krillian Empire's explosive rage that burned out in minutes, and even survived the Void Wraith's terrifying silent wrath. But nothing, absolutely nothing, had prepared her for what she was witnessing in the emergency session chamber aboard Nexus Station. The human delegation sat in perfect stillness. Commander Elena Vasquez, Earth's chief military attaché, hadn't moved for 17 minutes. Her hands were folded neatly on the table, her breathing was controlled, and her expression was neutral. But Tia Carla's empathic sensors were screaming warnings. The emotional radiation emanating from the human was unlike anything in her extensive database, a cold, burning intensity that seemed to grow denser with each passing moment. "The hegemony's position is clear," declared War Speaker Vex Hall, his massive form dominating one side of the circular table. "The human colony on Kepler 442b violated our territorial expansion protocols. The incident was a lawful enforcement action. The incident had been the orbital bombardment of New Geneva, a peaceful agricultural colony of 43,000 humans. The hegemony had given them 6 hours to evacuate before reducing the planet's surface to molten glass." Commander Vasquez spoke for the first time since the session began, her voice so level it made T. Kayla's chitinous spine crawl. 43,217 civilians. "The number is irrelevant," Vex Hall's translator rendered his guttural speech. "They were trespassers on claimed territory." Claimed by whom? This from Dr. James Morrison, Earth's senior diplomat. "The Galactic Charter requires documented settlement claims to be filed with the Council. Kepler 442b was listed as unclaimed when we established New Geneva 12 years ago." War Speaker Vex Hall's crest flared with irritation. "The hegemony does not require permission from lesser species to claim territory. Your colony was built in defiance of our expansion rights." Tala watched Commander Vasquez's reaction with growing unease. Most species, when confronted with such casual dismissal of mass casualties, would either explode in fury or retreat in fear. The humans did neither. If anything, they became calmer, more focused. "I see," Commander Vasquez said quietly. "And the survivors?" "There were no survivors," Vex Hall stated with what T. Carla recognized as pride. "The hegemony is thorough in its enforcement actions." The silence that followed stretched for nearly a full minute. Taylor's sensors indicated that the human delegation's emotional state had shifted into something she had no classification for. It was rage, certainly, but rage refined into something far more dangerous purpose. Dr. Morrison leaned forward slightly. "War Speaker Vex Hall, I want to make certain I understand the hegemony's position. You are claiming the right to exterminate entire civilian populations based on territorial claims that were never filed with any recognized authority?" "We claim what we claim," Vex Hall rumbled. "Lesser species may dispute this if they have the strength to do so." Commander Vasquez finally moved. She reached into her diplomatic pouch and withdrew a small data crystal, setting it gently on the table. "This contains Earth's formal response to the hegemony's action." Taylor's empathic readings spiked as the crystal was activated. The message that followed would be disseminated to every government in the galaxy within hours. To the galactic community, Commander Vasquez read in that same terrifyingly calm voice. "The United Earth Government formally declares that the unprovoked massacre of 43,217 civilians on New Geneva constitutes an act of genocide against the human species. In accordance with our laws and traditions, we hereby invoke the right of proportional response." The translation took several seconds to propagate through the various species' language matrices. When it did, the chamber erupted in chaos. Every non-human delegate began speaking at once, their various forms of communication creating a cacophony of concern. Carla knew what the right of proportional response meant. She had studied human history extensively when Earth first joined the galactic community. It was an ancient concept, refined through millennia of warfare, the principle that violence against civilians must be answered with equivalent violence against those responsible. Dr. Morrison smiled for the first time since entering the chamber. It was not a pleasant expression. "War Speaker, you misunderstand. We are not threatening you. We are informing you of what we are about to do." "The Council will not sanction T," Carla began, but Commander Vasquez cut her off with a gesture. "Ambassador T. Kayla, with respect, we are not asking for the Council's permission. This is a matter of human justice, and we will handle it according to human law." Over the following weeks, the galaxy watched in horrified fascination as Earth demonstrated what human anger looked like when it was focused and directed. The response was not the chaotic violence most species expected. Instead, it was methodical, precise, and utterly relentless. Earth's military, which most galactic powers had dismissed as primitive, revealed capabilities that defied conventional understanding. Human fleets appeared throughout hegemony space, not with overwhelming force, but with surgical precision. They targeted infrastructure, command centers, and military installations with a thoroughness that spoke of months of planning and intelligence gathering. But the most terrifying aspect of humanity's response wasn't the military campaign, it was the economic warfare. Human traders, who had become ubiquitous throughout the galaxy over the past decade, simultaneously withdrew from every system that maintained diplomatic relations with the hegemony. Planets that depended on human agricultural technology found themselves facing famine. Systems reliant on human manufacturing faced industrial collapse. The galaxy learned that humans had been quietly but systematically making themselves indispensable to galactic commerce. Now, that dependence became a weapon wielded with mathematical precision. War Speaker Vexhal's government fell within 47 days. The new hegemony leadership immediately reached out to the Galactic Council, offering full reparations and formal apologies for what they now termed an unauthorized military action by rogue elements. The human response was delivered by the same Commander Vasquez who had sat so still in that first session. "Apologies and reparations are appreciated," she said, "but insufficient. The individuals responsible for the New Geneva massacre will be extradited to Earth for trial. The hegemony will formally acknowledge human territorial rights and agree to council oversight of all future expansion. And," she paused, consulting her notes, "the hegemony will contribute to the construction of a memorial to the victims on the restored surface of Kepler 442b. "And if we refuse?" asked the new hegemony representative. Commander Vasquez's smile was as cold as the space between stars. "Then you will discover that what you have seen so far was not human anger. It was human disappointment. We strongly advise against experiencing the difference." The hegemony agreed to all terms within hours. Ambassador T. Kayla filed her report with the Council that evening, warning that the galaxy's understanding of human nature required immediate revision. They had assumed that humanity's capacity for friendship and loyalty, demonstrated in previous conflicts, represented the full extent of their emotional range. They had been wrong. When humans got angry, truly angry, they didn't explode in rage or retreat in fear. They became something far more dangerous. They became patient, methodical, and absolutely committed to ensuring that justice was served, regardless of the cost. The galaxy would remember New Geneva not as a tragedy, but as a lesson in why 43,217 was a number that no species ever wanted to hear spoken by a human again.